Hi everyone, mabuhay, magandang hapon. We love to see the numbers climbing up from our participants. So if you have friends who you know are also interested to come in and join, if you have kapitbahay or kabarangay or whatever that is, please tell them to join because hopefully they learn something from this webinar. And for some of you who joined a bit earlier, and in case you were wondering what I was doing while I was on mute, I was singing Golden. It's because Netflix. But it's such a blessing that I was on mute because that song is very hard to sing. And it's not like I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try not to ruin your afternoon by singing on mute. To you guys, wag na nating sirain ang inyong hapon with my voice, but that song is very catchy. So it was just in my head since I woke up in the morning. So again, mabuhay. My name is Carla Batan. I'm from the talent acquisition team of Penn Brothers. I have a confession. So I've been in the recruitment industry for a very long time. I just look young, but I've been here for a very long time. My confession is that for the longest time, I did not know that there is such a thing as false freelancing. I'm gonna be open to it. I'm gonna say it. Like when I was in college, sometimes you're tempted to take a side hustle. Sometimes you're tempted to do a freelance work. I even had a friend who called himself, I'm a freelance model. And I'm like, okay, whatever that means. But so parang for the longest time, I thought na, oh, freelancing is a thing. We knew that. But the recent realization I had is and thank you to our marketing team for making me tackle a topic that's very interesting, which is there is actually a thing called false freelancing. And it's such a revelation because when I read through the study, it's so important that we talk about it. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I bet, or I guess rather, that maybe you're here because, like me, um, you're either curious to know what this false freelancing is, or maybe lunok na lang kayo, but maybe you realize na, oh my God, that's me. And therefore, for today's session, Penn Brothers decided to host a session for everyone who are interested to know what is this about. And more importantly, if this is me right now, or if you experienced this before, then what can I do now? Now that I know, right? Then what can I do? Where can I take my career? And so for this webinar, welcome to everyone. We call this the 350,000, not a small amount, 350,000 trap. Because what does fake freelancing really costs you? And so we actually prepared a very quick survey. If you saw it from the screen earlier, if we can go back quickly to the QR code, because from all of the participants, we prepared this survey for you so that hopefully we get to understand where you're coming from talaga. Like, what is your background? So it's perfectly fine to please bring out your cameras, to please bring out your phones, scan the QR code. It should automatically put you on the web page where you're gonna ask multiple choice ito. So by all means, choose all applicable fields or answers as appropriate. And then just let us know what your background is so that hopefully we get that information to really nail it, di ba, na ano ba talaga yung, what can you really take out of this webinar? We're gonna give you guys a minute to respond to the survey via the QR code. So when you scan the QR code, it actually just asks you one question, which is, of the options we prepared for you there from A until H, which of these situations describe your current setup as a freelancer, quote unquote? Para we understand, ano kayang situation mo as a freelancer? Oh, some people pay their taxes and contributions on their own. Interesting. My contract is continuous naman. It's not project-based. Okay. I signed a company-style contract instead of being registered as self-employed. Ayan. Oh, it got more. I'm fully integrated into my client's team. Awesome. Doing the same work as employee. Ah, okay. Keep responding. Thank you, everyone. it's so important we know where you're coming from, para hopefully we get to tackle um, this these responses or issues head on as we move along. Sige. Okay. So it's very interesting because aside from recently realizing there is a term called fake freelancing, the numbers are also surprising for me. Like in your head, or if you want to use the group chat, in your head, if you can guess, how many Filipinos do you think are freelancers? Right? Like, ilan kaya? I only know my pinsan, maybe my, may kamag-anak, maybe my kapitbahay, doon sa kabilang barangay, maybe I know a freelancer. But um but actually sorry, before we get to that, I want to also quickly give an overview. If we can move to the slide where we're going to tell everyone what is this call for. Sorry, I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit. So the reason why we're hosting this webinar for interested people like you is really number one to educate, right? So the survey is for you to check yourself whether do I and my current arrangement show signs that I could possibly be a fake freelancer, and therefore am I part of that population that I'm so interested to know whether am I losing 350,000 of worth of benefits? Am I part of that? So the goal for us is to really educate you because um, you might feel like freelancing works for me. I'm the boss. I'm the one in charge of how my day-to-day looks like. Um, but but that's only because I realize that we actually don't talk about it enough. There's not enough authority or figures or industry people in the Philippines who can tell us what fake freelancing truly is. And it starts by understanding na, wait lang, oh my God, is that me? Yeah. And the 350,000, we're going to walk you through later how we came up with it. But let's do also some math for everyone. We took care of it. We're going to show it to you later on. But part of the goal of educating you is also letting you know how much you're losing in terms of benefit. And is that really going to be worth it? Right? And then, as the last goal for today, is after we've educated you, informed you, gave you insights into what fake freelancing is and what could be your options, is for you really individually to take control. Di ba na parang, okay, now I know it, now someone is talking about it, and so now what do I do with my career? Where do I take it moving forward? So those are the three goals that we would like to impart to everyone today. Keep that in mind as we progress with our discussions. So I'm going to go back with a realization na from the study that we did, we actually found out that more than a million Filipinos, 1.5 million Filipinos. If you're with someone right now taking this webinar, take a quick look at them. Hoy, is that you? Are you part of the 1.5? I'm just kidding. But it's a big number. Imagine 1.5 million Filipinos think that freelancing is the way to go. But what this means as well is that we have 1.5 million kababayans who don't have the same benefits as a full-time employee. And again, for me, it's like, well, because no one really talks about it enough. So let's talk about it, right? So, pag freelancer, you kind of feel like you follow office hours. You have your client dictates, according to the survey. Then kanina we saw, your clients dictate how you work, what hours you work, and yet you're still called a freelancer. But according to our study, the reality is this is not true freelancing. This is what we call false freelancer. Kung medyo confused pa kayo right now, please bear with me. We'll uncover what we mean by false freelancing. But this kind of setup kind of is similar to that of a full-time employee, and yet wala kang benefits. So in that statement alone, I kind of feel bad for people who think that freelancing is the way to go when you don't have the same benefits as a full-time employee. Guilty, right? I'm a full-time employee. The benefits of a full-time employee. May lugi factor dyan. And that's really what the essence of this webinar is really about. And I truly believe this is not fair, and I truly believe this is not freedom. Some people, when we try to study them, and well, I'm in talent acquisition, so it is my kind of my job to talk to different people. But in the many years I've been doing this, and recently, true story, recently I actually spoke to a freelancer who's joining Penn Brothers very soon, next month. He's joining us. Um, I felt bad that the burden of understanding how to make the benefits work, like you will file your own taxes, you will calculate it yourself, or work with an accountant that you don't know and you don't trust. All of that burden is on you. And for me, is that really freedom, right? Because for me, I think that it is risk disguised as freelancing. And the thing is, it actually comes with a cost, right? Itong mga responses na ito. Like I said kanina, for many years, and I'm guilty of this because since college, parang normal naman na may nag-freelance, right? Pero, um, but that's why many people have thought that this is normal. You might even tell yourself, at least I have work. At least I'm not a bum. At least I have work. But here's the truth. It's not normal to think that your go-to and only option is to do freelancing. Later on, we'll uncover why it is also not fair for you as the freelancer, as the employee. We think that this 1.5 million Filipinos who do freelancing deserve better because you're missing out on benefits that should come with having and performing a job. Later on, we're going to show you a story of a member of Penn Brothers. Her name is Anne. She is an ex-freelancer since 2006. I can't even compute now in my head how long ago that is. But now she is enjoying her full-time work with her client since 2014 when they moved and worked with Penn Brothers. Maybe for some of you, this story kind of resonates because once upon a time, Anne thought that freelancing is normal and freelancing is okay until she realized that this setup is not really sustainable for long term. It's not future oriented. So from the survey that we did, you can see the results from your screen, which is it really true work when your client decides your working hours? I will again say this as a true story. In my team right now, I'm the vice president of talent acquisition. If you ask me at any time, I actually don't know what hours my team work. My managers, I don't know what time they work. The members of our team, I don't know what time they work because I try not to control na, dapat they're on your laptop 9 to 6 p.m., right? Because for me, what matters is the productivity and the output. But is it really true freedom when your client dictates to you what your working hours should be and you have to be glued on your equipment during that period? You have the results on your screen. So if you realized by answering this question, it's really a self-realization check. This survey is really more for you. But if you answered yes to most of the questions here sa mga choices, then here's the thing. You're not really freelancing. You're carrying the risk of an employee without the safety net of a full-time employment. And unfortunately, what that means for you is you're losing money, you're losing benefits, you don't have job security. And then you also don't have growth opportunities because no one is looking after you from a talent progression standpoint because you don't have HR, for example. So based on the poll, we've seen that all of you, if not most of you, we fall under the category of false freelancing. So now that we're trying to uncover more what this false freelancing means, let's see how much of this setup costs you. Akala nyo lang it doesn't hit you, but listen to us because we've actually done our research and our calculation of how much you are losing by agreeing or continuing to be a false freelancer. So, for example, for the sake of simplicity and explaining this, for example, I speak to a few freelancers. Obviously, I talk to a lot of candidates. Some of them are freelancers. So let's say, for example, that the average is that a freelancer earns 60,000 pesos in a month. Wow. di ba? Handsome amount of money to earn in a month. But why is that big? Kasi parang sometimes we feel like, oh, if I work in that corporate company, it's probably not gonna be 60,000. Because I saw their advertisement, it's only this much. So I'm gonna go with this advertised looking for a freelancer who's offering 60,000 pesos per month. So let's say that's your pay. So in a year, annually, that means you're earning 720,000 pesos. That's 60,000 times 12 months. Okay? But here's the catch. A false freelancer quietly, you may not even be aware of it, you are losing 50,000 pesos of your true value every single year. Or sorry, 50% of your true value every single year. Sorry, let me repeat that for the sake of clarity. If you're earning 60,000, that means by 12, annually you're getting 720,000 pesos. No math, walang quiz dito ng math. We prepared the math for you. Okay, so wait lang. Yeah, so 720,000 pesos per year. But if you fall under the category of false freelancing, that means you're actually losing 50% of that value every single year. So around 350,000 annually gone. Not because you spent on it, not because you thought, now today I'm gonna reward myself with a Wolfgang steak. I don't even know how expensive that is, but I heard it's expensive, right? So, saan na pupunta yung 350K? Where does it come from? Why are you, Carla, saying that I'm losing it? I don't feel like I'm losing it. So, we've done the math for you. Hold on. So let's say, for example, that you love your client and you stretch your relationship with this client of yours, working relationship with this client for sabihin nating average 5 years. So math tayo ulit. 720,000 annually is what you get times 5. Sabihin na natin, right? And 50% of that value, we're saying you're losing quietly because of the benefits that client does not provide for you. So if your working relationship with this client has been lovely, but has been going on for 5 years, guess what? You've lost almost 2 million pesos. Oh my God. Diba? 2 million pesos worth of benefits that should have been in your, I don't know, benefits, retirement package, whatever you're working for. Kung 2 million pesos yan, and I have some aspiration for myself or for my family, I could have used that as down payment for a house, for myself, for my family, for my very cute dog, for my, diba? For my whole kamag-anak. I don't know, whatever your personal goals are. If not for a house, could I have used that money for other investments? Could I have used that money for a car that I really dream of? Right? Could I have used it as a down payment for a condominium? All of these are shouldered by you instead of an employer, a proper employer who's actually taking care of all of these benefits for you to harvest later on, either for a plan, because you think na, dapat by the time I hit 50, I have my house and lot. Or maybe for some of us, we're working for retirement. But because we're false freelancing, we actually don't invest in harvesting it later because wala. We don't have those benefits. So let's make it real. All of these are conceptual. We're introducing to you why we think you're losing money. So let's dive deep into the breakdown of the 350,000 we're talking about here. Yeah. So as you guys know, we have our SSS, we have our PhilHealth, we have our Pag-ibig. Pag-ibig. If you're a false freelancer, you lose around 100,000 worth of benefits because your client is not contributing to the government for you. 100,000 a year. Health insurance or what we call HMO. If it costs you 25,000 to 60,000 to get the health insurance, but you feel like the 60,000 pesos that I'm so blessed to have from this client who wants a freelancer, but you actually don't get HMO together with it. Tama? Lunok na lang kayo kung totoo. Right? 13th month pay. That's why I said kanina, if you're earning 60,000, your annual is by 12. Whereas if you're a full-time employee, your annual is actually by 13 because you are guaranteed to have a 13th month pay. but you don't get it if you're a false freelancer. You also don't get, or you also lose the value, and also, I guess, the mental safety of knowing that I can take a leave and I am still paid during that time that I was on vacation in Japan or I was sick. In a false freelancing environment, no work, no pay. Tama? So, meaning to say, it is such a benefit aside from the monetary value of it, but also the benefit that, oh, I know, parang it's such, it gives you comfort and a sense of kumpiyansa that even if I am truly sick today and I take a time off, that day is paid for me. And then let's talk about equipment and training. For you to go to a freelancing website and submit your application and raise your hand that you're open for a freelancing gig, you actually need to invest in your computer. You need to invest in your equipment. And we're not just talking about just one laptop. Sometimes you need a full setup, right? Because the client is not going to give that to you because contingent to accepting this freelancing arrangement is that you need to have your equipment first. So if we total all of that, that is where the 350,000 worth of benefits is coming from. And once again, if over a span of 5 years that you feel like you've been doing false freelancing, then you're losing nearly 2 million pesos worth of these benefits that could go somewhere else. Let's see what's in store for us in the next slide. So this is Anne. Before we play the video, this is Anne, a member of our Pen Brothers group. And we want to share with you stories because we feel like this is not a classroom where I give you the calculations and stuff, right? Because we believe that sometimes stories stick more than whatever theoretical studies or research we did well, right? So let's listen to Anne and what her story is and see if it resonates with you.
Hi, kamusta? I'm Anne. I'm an ex-freelancer turned full-time employee. I started freelancing in 2013. My first gig, just $2 an hour. I thought freelancing meant freedom, but most days I was just struggling to get the work done. Still, I logged in, delivered, and kept going because as the eldest, I have to provide for my family. Then in 2014, I met my client Gregory. He didn't just see my work, he saw me. He trusted me, gave me space to grow, and the first time I felt my real value, the Scout Talent team welcomed me wholeheartedly. By 2017, we partnered with Penn Brothers. Payroll, taxes, and benefits were finally handled. My client could focus on the business, and I could focus on my work and on chasing my dream of becoming an accountant. Today, I'm still here and for the long term, from $2 an hour to a future I can count on. If you're freelancing with just one client and feel stuck, know this: the right shift can change everything.
So, once upon a time, Anne thought that she was safe. Kasi nga parang false freelancing gives you a belief na I am in charge of my career. I am in charge, direkta ako kay client who is seated somewhere in the UK, for example. And I have a job. It's not like I'm not working. It's not like I'm not working towards my personal goals or family goals. So once upon a time, people think or Anne thought that it's okay, it's safe. Steady client, regular pay. But the story of Anne is when her father got sick. Walang HMO, like we said kanina. So also, when she was tired, she can take a leave, but that day is not paid. And when she started thinking, dreamt of retirement, sabi ni Anne, parang walang kaban. Yeah, there's nothing to harvest. Parang ganun. Because there was no plan. There was nothing. I truly believe, and I hope that if you meet my team, if you have applied to Penn Brothers and you get to meet one of our recruiters, I always tell them this. Our jobs are supposed to help us live the life that we want. I'm not a fan of 1000% work, 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 right? I believe in the work that we do helps us live the life we want. And I understand people's circumstances are different, but and we respect that, right? We're not trying to come from a place where we think na this statement is for everyone. But whatever stage we are in our lives, we work for something. Ako right now, like I said kanina, guys, don't be fooled. I just look young, but I'm quite old. I'm now in the stage of my life where everything I do now is for what my retirement would look like, what my life would look like when I'm ready to retire. 'Di ba? Hindi naman masaya na lagi na lang ako nagre-recruit. Maybe there will come a time where I'm gonna say, okay na. I've done my best in my career. But it's such a benefit and it gives you safety, kumpiyansa, that everything I've worked for the past 30 or 40 years of my life is actually leading up to something. But that is what Anne realized na wala pala if I keep being a freelancer. And yung HMO na wala as a benefit, one trip to the hospital where the bill will shock you can ruin everything that you thought you were working hard for. And again, true story, guys. I have a friend. He used to work with me in my previous company before Penn Brothers. Nung umalis siya ng Taskas, that's where I came from. Um, he tried freelancing, and at first he loved it because he felt like, oh, I'm so free. Um, but he himself got sick, and we all tried to help him with whatever we can. But that bill, up to now, he's recovering from it. True story, right? So si Anne made a choice. And together with her boss, yung pangalan ng boss niya, if I remember correctly, is Greg or Gregory. They spoke to Penn Brothers, and instantly, when that relationship worked and when we took them on as part of our team, for Anne, it changed the game for her. It shifted. Bakit nag-shift? Because now her income and her benefits become more predictable. Kita mo yun sa payslip. This is your basic pay. Ito yung contributions to your SSS, to your pag-ibig, to your HDMF, example. Right? HMO is part of our package now. A wait na anytime any one of my family or dependents get sick, wala na yung worry na, oh my God, di ba parang yung ipon ko ganito lang, yung medical bills namin ganito. It's nakakawala ng worry, right? So when you get out of that mode, na you're always worried, you get out of being in a survival mode, we're gonna say. Diba? Because now, nakampante ka na, you're stable, you feel safe, you feel secured. Now you start thinking ahead. Now you start building, truly participating in where to take your career. Because you're not worried about, okay, patapos na yung freelancing gig ko with this client. Now what's next? Do I advertise myself again as available for freelancing work? Or continuous yung employment mo? So now you don't have to worry about those things, right? So from survival for Anne, I think her narrative became about growth. Because sabi ni Anne sa video niya, and Anne, sorry if I'm speaking now on your behalf, is she now started to look forward. She now started to grow her career. She led automation projects that trimmed down a task that took weeks, naging isang araw na lang yata. And she picked up her CPA dream. That's not my dream, but that's Anne's CPA dream because now you actually get to participate in building your career. CPA na si Anne. So, wow. She started to imagine more. I really believe in it. Pag wala tayo sa survival mode or sa firefighting mode, we get to dream. We get to think about how can I build my future? How can I create a life that I want to participate in? So yung story ni Anne, it shows us actually the lesson for Anne is seeking stability for your career is not the end. It's actually the beginning. Kasi once you get out of that survival mode or survival mindset, you make growth possible for yourself. So, okay na yan. Maganda na yung story and we love Anne. If you find Anne on LinkedIn, connect with her on LinkedIn. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah? So ngayon, let's give you the takeaway. Diba? Remember, we had 3 goals. So now you know why. Now you know there's false freelancing. Now you know how much worth of benefits you're losing out on or missing out. So now what do you do? Okay. So what's the takeaway? We have two recommendations for you guys. If you decide that I deserve these benefits, especially whether I want to avail a house for my family or kapag retirement age na ako, then yeah, I want to harvest those contributions, right? If you decide na stop na, I want that to be, I want it to be different this time, then the first option for you is I would say, kaya naman siya. It's a do-it-yourself approach. But let's try to understand what it takes if you want to do it yourself. Meaning to say, if you're currently working with a client right now, are you someone comfortable um, being upfront with your client and saying, hello, I hope you're having an awesome day. Can I please talk to you about my benefits? Right? Sino yung comfortable to go and talk to your client and do that? It's a DIY approach. Do it yourself. You can have that discussion yourself. Right? Nothing wrong with that. You can do it if that's the approach you want to do. It kind of sounds like something simple. Maybe you can do it, but may catch din yan because hindi naman I truly believe that they're not engaging in freelancing work because they want to take advantage of you. Or actually, maybe some do, maybe some don't. Um, but in our research, what actually came about is that they prefer this approach because they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to compute your taxes. This person sits in the UK. Diba? This person sits in the US. They won't know anything about taxation in the Philippines. They don't know government benefits, SSS, pag-ibig, whatever. They don't know how to make those contributions. So sometimes it's a case of they settled for this because they don't know how to give you the benefits, to give you the contributions. They don't know how to make payroll work for you. So transfer na lang para malinis kamay. Pero on the receiving end of it is, how do you actually compute for your tax? You have to file it. You have to declare it. Diba? Um, and then if we don't know how to do that, if you choose the DIY approach and you don't know how to compute for all of these things, you're gonna get hit with compliance. And when you're not compliant, then babalik din sa atin ng government to say these are not declared. Okay? So DIY, you can do that perfectly fine if that's the approach you want, but just be cognizant of the complexities of handling that discussion, especially if you yourselves are not experts in these things. Okay? You have to convince. You will talk to your client to treat you like an employee and give you the benefits you deserve and negotiate for it. Pag-ibig, HMO, 13-month pay, SSS, PhilHealth, right? And then you have to also think about the legal setup. You have to register sa DOLE, sa BIR, SSS, etc. And make sure you're compliant. Payroll. How do you compute for tax? How do you make sure you're compliant? Right? How do you track your monthly remittances? And how do you file for your annual reports? Um, Yun. And then again, those have risks. Kasi if you're not an expert in doing it, ako, I've been working for a very long time. Up to now, I'm just happy that I see the contributions in my payslip. But if you ask me, I actually don't know how to compute for that. Yeah. So if I don't know how to compute for it, then that means I'm exposing myself to a risk of non-compliance. And non-compliance results to penalties. Make sense? That's the first approach. The second approach is for pen brothers or to work with pen brothers. Bring your client. Maybe the only discussion you need to have with your client is, hey, can I introduce you to pen brothers? Right? That's your subtle way of saying, punta ka dito because I know I deserve my benefits. And what's gonna happen if they talk to pen brothers? We're gonna handle all of those for them. Because again, we're coming from a research where one of the ways or one of the reasons why they're doing this setup is because they don't know how. So what if we fix that problem for them? Right? You love working with this client, you like the relationship. The only problem is you're missing out on your benefits. So work with people like us who know how to handle this for you. Okay? We will take care of the legal. We're going to take care of compliance. You will get your benefits while you keep your working relationship with the client that you've been working with and the client you trust and the client that trusts you to do that work for them. So what if you go with this approach, What if instead of the pressure of convincing them that we will handle those discussions for you? Diba? Kami bahala to negotiate. You don't need to plead with your client. We will talk to them as experts. We're the ones who are going to explain to them the setup. Kami bahala, right? They keep you, you keep them. We're in the back end running all of this payroll, compliance, tax, and legal requirements for both of you. From what if kung option to yung trip nyo, then what if instead of a legal, confusing legal maze, we just give you a ready framework. Ikaw, tsaka yung client. Forget DOLE, forget BAR, forget filings, right? We're gonna take care of the paperwork for you guys, for both of you. We will handle all the registrations. What if instead of payroll burden, we take care as well of a seamless salary experience? I've been in Penn Brothers for 15 months, not 15 years, 15 months. And I am very true story to share. I've never experienced a delayed pay. Actually, advance pa nga siya talaga. So, but what if that can also be your experience? No chasing, no filing problems, no remittances issues. We will handle the computation of how much contributions will go to your benefits. Yeah. So, well, for us in Penn Brothers, we're called employer on record, meaning to say you will continue to work with your client, diretso pa rin yan, direkta pa rin yan. Nasa likod lang kami supporting this working relationship, making sure the client pays you adequately and you get the benefits of unemployment, right? We think that aside from taking care of the paperwork, we're solving an issue for this 1.5 million Filipinos who think na nasanay na ako eh. I thought it's normal, right? And what if you harvest now the benefit of the job security and you secure your future too with this setup? So if this resonates with you, if you want to sit with this thought, take a couple of hours, take a couple of days to think about it, and then you want to talk to us about um, engaging with your current client and for us to help you with these discussions, um, yeah, we'll be happy to take care of that for you. So, kanina, I promised a four-step framework. Um, if you want to stop this setup na false freelancing, what can you do? Four steps. Book a consultation with us whenever you're ready. Ayan, andyan yung email address you can reach out to if you would like to talk to us, how we can help you with the transition, you and your client with the transition. The second step is for you to share with us your story, align with us on the specific setup you want to have so that we can also carry that information when we talk to your client. What is not working? What do you wish you want to have? Now that you know you owe these benefits, diba? What matters to you? So that when we talk to your client, we can get to how we can handle those discussions really well. Kasi we understand things from your perspective. And then the third step is to get compliant. Because Penn Brothers, yung Penn Brothers team will work for making sure that all of these paperworks are submitted and compliant according to government regulations. And then the fourth step is transition and thrive. Get out of that survivability, I don't know what's next mode. Diba? So do your work, continue and keep with your client, continue that relationship with your client, no interruptions, all of these paperwork's happening on the back end. That's why we call the fourth step transition. So lipat and then thrive forward. Because once we take care of that quietly in the back end, you will get out of the survival mode as what I've shared with you with Anne's story. And then where can you take your career next? What's the next exciting project you can take care of for this client? Yeah. So four steps. Kung talagang interested. If you think that you're working now because you're building for a future. Yeah. So I think that's it. So that's really what we want to know. Parang I don't think there's enough people talking about freelancing. I don't think there's enough people who care. Like you, once upon a time, I thought it's normal. Once upon a time, Anne thought it's normal. Maybe right now, because now we're talking about it. Maybe now you know na mukha lang malaki yung pay. So enticing. I feel good. But are you saying na talaga every year I'm losing 350K worth of benefits na pwede ko sanang i-harvest later on when I'm ready to retire, when I'm ready to grant, fulfill my dream of a house and lot in the province, in Cavite, in Laguna? Yeah. False freelancing is not freedom. It has costs. With the right setup, you keep your client, diba? If you like working with them, great. But gain your benefits and secure that future. I believe we're working now so that we get to live the life we want. So talk to us if you would like our help to transition your current work environment of a false freelancing into something that truly works where you get your benefits. So thank you so much, everyone, for bearing with me, for listening to my stories. I'm so sorry you couldn't hear Anne, but we'll try to see if we can share that video with you guys and listen to her story. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Book a consultation if there's anything we can help you with. Uh, and I think we're open again for questions kung merong gustong magtanong. You're welcome, Kenna. Oh, si Maxine gusto mag-CPA. Girl, go for it. Welcome, Jeremina. Welcome, Russell and Chella. Question: how can I ensure that the shift is seamless? Actually, that's on us. If you're working with the right partner, the transition should be seamless. Wala kayong gagawin. You just need to come to us and say, I need help. I think I can convince my current client na there is a different setup. That's all you have to do. Kami na yung bahala to take care of the convincing part. We have reputation. We work with a lot of clients to prove that our Filipino employees actually deserve their benefits. And we'll take, again, ang worry nila is, I don't know taxation. So, okay lang, we'll take care of that. If you work with experts, then that transition should not impact you at all. Are there Philippine laws that actually protect freelancers, like in terms of the benefits we deserve, just like regular employees? I'm gonna answer this in the context of what we found in the research. In no means am I a lawyer to articulate my response in a legal framework. But according to our research, there is no law protecting freelancers. Kaya nga a lot of freelancers or freelancing clients get away with not giving you benefits. Kasi wala nag-audit sa kanila. Is is it right but to ask your client for an increase after working with them in a few years? I wouldn't say right. Kasi wala naman kayong governing HR policy around employee or tenure, ano bang tawag natin doon? Um, merit increase yung term dyan eh. It's like, depending on the model of the company, every year that you stay in the company, there is a merit increase. But that is a benefit of being in a full-time employment. Like sa Penn Brothers example. Kung freelancer ka, and you think that, do I have a right to ask my client for an increase? I think that you can ask if they're open to it. But if they don't have the framework and the support of a local HR, they don't know how. That's the more important thing to address there. How will they come up with a value of 1 peso increase to 10 peso increase? They don't know how to decide that. Can you share sample scripts to make it sound like a win-win? Oh, script. Sure. Do we have a script? I think we have a framework. I don't know if you have a really verbatim script. What if the client is not receptive to the change and instead decides to terminate the relationship? True concern, Junie. What if ang intention mo lang naman is, can we, please have a sit down and talk about this? Pero what if ma-turn off sila? Diba? What if? So I guess my answer there is tansyahin nyo muna, what is your level of relationship with your client? Is it two-way in the sense that you talk and they talk and both people listen? Or is it only one way where sila lang yung nagsasabi sa inyo anong gagawin? If they don't listen to you, then that's a very tight conversation to have. But again, Junie, maybe what you can do is you can consult with us one on one. I'll try to understand your situation better. And then again, if Penn Brothers can handle that conversation for you while you stay in the back end, then it's not your problem. It becomes our thing to do. Junie, I hope that helps. So I guess clear answer is tansyahin mo muna what your relationship is with this client. Is it mutually respectable? Is it mutually parehas kayo you can talk to each other? But if that is not the case, then you can talk to me. I'll help you navigate this. What if eventually the client calls off the contract, just overthinking? Okay, if this is your bread and butter. Yeah, so I think Maxine, the same thing. Depende on your comfortability or confidence in your working relationship with your client, it gives you kind of a tansya of what kind of conversation you can have. But again, the reason why Penn Brothers does this for you guys is we can navigate those discussions for you. Is the consultation free? Yes. Yes. Uh, does this kind of true freelancing allow us to take on several clients? Does this kind of true freelancing allow us to take on several clients? I would answer that in my understanding of the freelancers na nag-move sa Penn Brothers. I know that working with only one client. Because let's understand why we're working with several clients. Because you feel like the more gig you have, the more stability you give yourself. Tama? So you feel like, I'm gonna take more. So because we got rid of the bottom line, it's actually, you're gonna get benefits and good pay with working with just one client. Mahirap kaya mag-juggle ng different clients at the same time. Sorry, Gio, if that's not your experience, then I don't mean to ano. But that's my answer to it, which is the way I answer it is we're gonna get rid of the reason why freelancers take on multiple gig projects and give you the stability and security that working with one is actually equivalent to juggling multiple clients. Can I work with Penn Brothers so I can receive the benefits again? Apply ka na, girl. Maxine, go. If Penn Brothers is engaged to talk to our client, okay, is there a fee that the freelancer will pay? Completely zero. Wala. From Junie. Junie, wala. The right shift can change everything. That's it. So if you also want to make those changes, contact us. Book a consultation absolutely free. Freelancers, tama ba ako? It's freelancer@penbrothers.com. Freelancer@penbrothers.com. Or you can just connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to make intros or talk to you. Maraming salamat everyone for joining our webinar. I hope that we met our goal of educating first, and then the second step is really for you. Decide. Do you finally want to claim the benefits that you deserve, or you're not going to make any changes? Okay. Thanks, everyone.